Good morning, everybody. What's going on? Welcome back to I Got a Pimple on My Forehead I Can't Get Rid of, and this is going to be a fun show today. Welcome back to Movie Mornings. I'm your host, Martino. We got awesome stuff coming to you. We got an Argylle review. We are talking about Deadpool 3. There's a plot synopsis out. Denis Villeneuve had some interesting comments about Dune 3. Dune 2 is on my most anticipated. I know my co-host feels the same here today. And a lot of other fun stuff we're going to get into, honestly. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to my co-host here today. It's Mr. Jose Espinel, as usual. How you doing, Jose?
Doing great. Really excited to get into the stuff for today. We got, as Dom said, some really interesting stuff to talk about today. And honestly, yeah, I'm honestly super highly waiting to watch Dune Part Two. It's honestly up there as my most anticipated, honestly, because the first one was just so good, and
Yeah,
I've read the first book, so I'm just excited to see how it compares to
for
the
sure.
book, the second part, because the first part was very, very accurate to the book.
Yeah, for sure. There's a reason I set the background as Dune today, folks, because I'm just so excited about this movie and already pre-ordered my tickets and to the earliest
Same.
showing I could find around my area, and I'm very excited to see that in the IMAX. That first IMAX experience was
Mm-hmm.
unreal. But
It was.
first things first, we got to talk about Argyle.
I'm the realist. Oh,
We have seen, no, you're good. We have seen Argyle, both of us today, and so we're going to be able to share a review today, which is going to be hopefully a lot of fun to dive into. So, just to give a basic synopsis of Argyle here, we have Ellie, played by Bryce Dallas Howard, and she gets on a train. She's an author. She meets a fan. The fan basically reminds her of the character in her book Argyle, who is played by Henry Cavill as she imagines that character. But she meets Aiden, who's played by Sam Rockwell, who reminds her of that character, and she can almost like shut her eyes and see Henry Cavill's Argyle and all that, and then twists and turns and twists and turns and twists and turns, and we're gonna kind of leave it at that for the non-spoiler synopsis and not get into much else on that. But Jose, I'm actually gonna let you take the lead, man. What'd you think of Argyle?
man, where to start? It's a very interesting concept that I actually liked watching.
Okay.
Um, Watching two back-to-back um, author type movies, because obviously the first one I saw was American Fiction, and now this one with Argyle. Um, the fact that this one was like a twist on espionage and like spies and all the twists and turns, like you said, that it had, and the comedy and the intensity and all of that was really, really cool. Seeing, obviously, like you said, Henry Cavill playing Argyle. Um, you had John Cena playing his partner, Wyatt, I believe was the name. You had Bryan Cranston in there, who was also an interesting character.
Mm-hmm.
Samuel Jackson, whose character was also, I mean, he always makes me laugh. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
he's just an amazing actor. So no, yeah, it was and obviously the cat. We can't forget about Alfie,
Cat was a big part of this, yeah.
who was a yeah a very big part of this film, and um, actually made me more of a cat person. I'm not gonna lie to you. Made me want to get a cat. That exact cat, actually. I want to get that cat, and I'm gonna name it Alfie. Um, no, but yeah. So from beginning to end, honestly, I was hooked in from beginning to end. Again, with all the twists and turns
Yeah.
and everything to do with this movie, the fight scenes and stuff were also um, really cool. Um, there's a bit of a comedic aspect to some of the fights as well, which I thought was a nice, refreshing take. Because normally you just see, they're like serious fights, like for example with the Beekeeper movie and movies like that, that are also espionage movies. This one had a funnier take, which I really enjoyed seeing because it was pretty refreshing, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion.
All right, yeah, man. No, that's awesome. I'm so glad you had a good time with this one, man. I was so
And I saw it in Dolby, so it made
saw it
the
in Dolby.
experience even better.
I saw it
Yeah.
in standard. I will admit to that. The IMAX, just the timing didn't really line up for my schedule today. But I will say, I gotta say, I was really looking forward to this one. I'm a huge Matthew Vaughn fan, man. Kick Ass, Kingsman, X Men First Class. Guy's like super original, and this is a very original take. Like he puts fresh takes into franchises. This one's one of his own original inceptions. So I was really stoked to see what he'd do here. I really wanted to have a blast with an original action movie today. I love this cast. I think that the cast was actually
Oh, we had Dua Lipa as well in it.
Dua
Obviously,
Lipa was who was actually pretty good in the movie. I'll talk about that here in a second because I thought she did
who's
a
now
pretty nice
really
job.
good friends with
Yeah,
John Cena after playing Mermaid Barbie and Merman Ken.
yeah, and yeah, man, I was just so stoked, and I thought this movie was terrible. I don't want to bury the lead on this. This
Fair.
movie, like to me, just oh my gosh, I thought it was too long. There's about 8 different endings. I thought the twists and turns were overwhelming. A lot of the times predictable. I don't want to give anything away, but I'm just going to give an example, non-spoiler. There's somebody that comes to a door at one point, and once the knock happened on the door, I was like, I know who that's going to be, and they're going
Yeah,
to end
no.
up being this, and I was exactly right about that. Everything there, and then there's a twist that happens after that I thought was pretty good, but because of all the twists and turns that come after it, I thought it got ruined. I immediately didn't like. I didn't care about these characters from the get go. There is editing issues here too. I thought. I think with Henry Cavill and Sam Rockwell, the sort of switcheroo that they keep doing, you only had to do that once for the audience to understand what that was, and they kept doing it throughout the film. And it felt like just an excuse to have Cavill there. Massive Henry Cavill fan. He's good in the movie, but there's no reason to keep doing it over and over again. We got it the first time. Um, and then it kind of all kind of plays into the very end that I just ended up not caring about. Um, anyway, because it just, yeah, the rest of the movie just didn't work for me. I think
Did you see the post credit scene
I didn't
or the
even,
mid credit
I
scene?
got the hell out of there. I was,
Oh,
there
I
was,
mean, well, if you would have stayed, then it would have probably hit
okay,
different for you because
maybe.
there was a twist at the in the mid credit scene
You could tell me
that
about
had
it
me that,
off air.
that had me like, holy crap, yeah,
Yeah, you can
no.
tell me about it off
Um,
air. I didn't
I
even
thought
think to
I
stay
thought
for
those
one.
edits between Henry Cavill and what's his name, what's it,
Sam
Sam,
Rockwell.
yeah,
Sam Rockwell.
yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it added a funny aspect to it, showing
Yeah.
the difference between how Henry Cavill's Argyle was, you know, doing stuff with ease versus how he was doing stuff. You know what I mean? I thought it was like
Yes.
a
I
funnier concept.
just, it didn't make me laugh. It didn't hit me. And I thought it felt very spoon feedy, to me, like anyway. Like
Fair,
I just thought
fair.
it felt very spoon feedy. Like I thought I don't like when a movie treats the audience like morons, and that's how it felt to me. That's how it came across.
Fair.
And I gotta say, there was one. I mean, we were always expecting. I think every Matthew Vaughn movie has this like one really big elongated action sequence, and I think and this one has one too. It's toward the end, and I think the idea of it is cool. The execution of it did not work for me. Like, and I for that big long action sequence, you know what I'm talking about. And I was expecting one.
Yeah.
The one in Kingsman hits so much better. For me, I enjoy that one so much more. The one in even the first Kick-Ass was a lot better to me. This one I just like. I do respect that's an original idea, and I think on paper I do see why everybody signed on to do this. Like I really do, because on paper, this movie had to be one of the coolest pitches I've ever heard. Because on paper it sounds very good, but you got to execute it, and I do think there's a good movie in here if you chop it down. So I think that this movie should have played maybe, man, hour 45. I would have taken an hour
I do
45.
I do feel like the 2 hour 19 was a little bit too long for the
It's
movie.
a long
That would
movie.
probably be that'd probably be my only gripe with with a movie like this specifically.
Yeah,
I just feel like the 2 hours 19 was a little too long. Um, Especially in one of the last
yeah,
scenes, I feel like that could have been, if you know what I'm talking about, could have been definitely cut down some.
yeah.
Um,
You know,
and some other parts too. Like, yeah, no, I mean, I feel like this movie could have been like an hour 30, hour 45.
I gotta say, like, I think Bryce was pretty serviceable. I was happy to see her do something on screen, not off screen. We're usually used to seeing her direct Mandalorian episodes now, so it was great to see her on screen in something that wasn't Jurassic World again. So I thought she did a pretty serviceable job, honestly. I wish the character was written better, but her acting was pretty serviceable. Same with Sam Rockwell. The acting was not an issue for me. Samuel Jackson felt wasted in this to me. Same with Bryan Cranston. I mean, it's Bryan Cranston. He doesn't give a bad performance. He's just wasted in this to me. I also feel like there is one cool thing he does with the gun though that made me go, "Oh, I think you might be knowing."
Oh,
Yeah, there was one
yeah.
part I was like, "Oh shit,
I'm not gonna
definitely."
lie, that
Yeah,
part made me laugh. I'm
yeah,
not
for
gonna
sure.
lie.
Me too. Yeah, for sure. Me too. There was one thing he did with the gun that I thought worked. There was another scene. Oh, Dua Lipa. I thought for this amount of screen time she had, I was surprised by her acting ability. Like it wasn't like this phenomenal performance, but she fit the role and fit the movie and fit the scene. I thought that was actually a pretty good
Honestly,
scene.
for
That
first,
interaction.
in terms of singers who are trying to get into
Yeah,
acting, I feel like she's actually
yeah. She has
one of the better
potential.
ones. Yeah,
She has potential. I mean,
yeah.
don't put her in a lead tomorrow, but she has potential. I
From Barbie to this, I mean, yeah, she definitely.
Yeah, I saw some good stuff there, and I like that. I like the interaction scene. It felt very Indiana Jones with her and Bryce there. Something about the tone of it. And I like that. That scene was really working for me and firing up for me. I will compliment the score. I thought was very good. There are decent shots in this movie. I don't want to say that there's not because there definitely are, but like not. There's a lot that I felt like were very lifeless at the same time. Like
I also,
not what I'm used
I
to
mean,
seeing from
I
Matthew
also
Vaughn.
forgot. I forgot Ariana DeBose was in this too.
That's right. Yeah,
Her
Arnie the
character.
most,
I feel
which
like
small role but serviceable, I guess, for what that was trying to do. I can give it that. Um, yeah, that she was one of the few. There's not really a saving grace to this movie, but if there was, it'd be her. Like that character and how she was utilized, I enjoyed for Ariana DeBose. The other thing that I would say is like, I want to have a conversation with Matthew Vaughn. Be like, hey Matthew, why'd you hire John Cena? And he'd say, because that's literally how it felt like because it's John Cena, we want to have him in the movie, whatever. Wasted.
I feel like
um
that's what the most of these big castings and I'm like, why'd you hire Henry Cavill? Cause why'd
yeah,
you hire Bryan Cranston?
Cavill
Cause
made
like
a little more
Why'd you get Samuel
sense.
Jackson?
Yeah,
Cause
yeah, no, I mean Cavill was definitely wasted too, but I also feel like he was a little bit more serviceable because he does have that like spy thing about him. Like people wanted him to be Bond there for a bit, so he has that thing to him. He's played a spy before. Matthew Vaughn is a filmmaker. I want to see him get out of the spy thing. I think it's just it's tired. It
who?
feels tired. Matthew Vaughn, the director, he needs to
Oh,
get out
okay,
of the
yeah.
spy stuff. I think it's tired for him, and it's time to just. I want to see him do more original stuff, but not this. I think he needs to get out of the spy thing, because
I think he's done and he's done enough with in terms of the spy
and,
movies.
and automatically you're going to compare this to the first Kingsman because it's the other Matthew Vaughn spy movie, right? And
Yeah,
you're
what a
automatically
movie.
and the first Kingsman's amazing, and this one not so much to me anyway.
And he also did The Kingsman.
Did he do that? Did he direct it though? Or was he just a producer?
He directed all of them.
I thought Dexter Fletcher directed too, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
No, he's directed all three of them.
Okay then.
I'm looking up The Kingsman, which is
So
the
yeah,
other
you're
one.
gonna
He directed that as well.
and to be honest with you, the last two Kingsman movies weren't good. So to me, like
Yeah, no.
the first one was great, and that was great, and he needs to get out of it. Just go away from it. I thought he was only a producer on those last two, but yeah, because yeah, so this really shows the spy thing for me anyway. Yeah, I'm tired of it with Matthew Vaughn. I just wanted to get away from it. But I
Yeah, I
want to
feel like he needs to
see Bryce do
venture out
more.
and do something new. Yeah, no, for sure.
I
I
want to see
do think
Bryce
that
do
she
more. She's a good lead.
put put in a yeah no if the characters and stuff are written better, I feel like she definitely can um be in a very good lead role.
Yeah,
Because I mean, she did given how her character was in this,
yeah.
um, she did good for what was given to her for sure.
Yeah, this felt like a bunch of people that you usually see in smaller stuff say, "Let's get together and make a big blockbuster," and it just to me didn't work. It felt flat, and that's whatever. $10 wasted, but it's fine. I'm like I'm over it. To
Yeah,
me,
luckily I didn't
just
have to really.
well,
I only paid probably like $2 or $3 for it.
luckily you enjoyed it. Unlike
That is
me.
true
So I
also.
mean, yeah, I mean, I'm
And even if I
glad.
didn't enjoy it, I didn't pay that
Yeah.
much for it
Yeah, man.
technically.
But yeah, guys. I mean, should you go see it? I'm gonna say no. I give this one a don't watch. But Jose, yeah, go ahead with yours. Your grade.
Um, I'd give it a might watch.
Okay.
Only because of the. I mean, I had fun. Like I laughed a lot in it.
Yeah.
obviously from my Dolby, definitely go if you're gonna watch it in Dolby or IMAX because I feel like that also gives the everything that happens in the movie. Um,
Yeah,
it elevates it for sure.
yeah,
Some not to a must watch, but definitely to like a might watch because it's a fun movie. If you're one that doesn't really take critiquing a movie too seriously. Because I looked up the Rotten Tomatoes and I got a 39 from the critics and a 64 from the audience, so it's
mm,
pretty split.
yeah.
So it seems like
Audiences are
mm,
digging it. Yeah,
yeah, and so yeah, so if you're one that doesn't, isn't hard on critique, like serious about critiquing movies, then
yeah,
I would, I would say you can go watch it because it is a good time, honestly. But do definitely watch it in Dolby or IMAX if you are going to go watch it
yeah.
because it elevates the experience for sure.
Yeah, I thought the pacing was terrible, and I already gave my grade. But I also think like, and I think Might Watch is fair even for you who did like it, because let's be honest, even if you do like this movie, it's not going to be one of your favorites of this entire
No,
year, or anything like that. Even if you do enjoy
granted,
it.
this year just started, but
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. That's my point. So it's like I think that's a fair place to put it, even for somebody who
because I
did
mean,
like
with
it.
the movies with the movies coming this year, Dune, um, Deadpool 3,
Yeah,
so on and so forth. Like, there's just so many other movies that are gonna be ones that will be in our must watch high up there.
yeah,
So yeah, no,
for
my
sure.
watch is definitely it's fair,
Yeah.
honestly.
All right, guys, you heard it from us. If you've seen Argyle, let us know what you think of it. Definitely want to hear everybody's take, whether you liked it, didn't like it. Let us know. Definitely want to hear that. And let's get into our stories today. Oh, I am excited for this first one. Yeah, we have something pretty awesome going on here. And I just like freaking lost it, and I am so mad at myself for this. But I'm gonna pull it back up here, and get it on the screen. We have a new poster for a new movie coming out, Beetlejuice 2, and here it is right here on the screen, everybody.
Jeez.
Very excited for this. I think that this poster is awesome. Big reason I wanted to bring this up is because I wanted to know your take on this, Jose. I say a trailer is pretty imminent at this point now that we got this poster. With the release date, by the way, let's
At least with at least a teaser for sure. An
yeah,
official trailer maybe like 2 or 3 months after the teaser is released. Yes, especially since as we're seeing here, the release date is
September 6th of this year.
September
Yeah,
6th. So yeah, I feel like a teaser is imminent very soon, maybe in the next month.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and then 2 3 months after that, release an official trailer. So yeah, I do feel like a teaser, at least a teaser trailer,
yeah.
is
I agree.
like imminent.
I think a teaser is
Yeah, for sure.
perfect. I do think they want to build hype a little bit early. I don't think it's going to come like tomorrow, but a week, 2 weeks time, I think is
I mean,
good.
that's company standard. You release a
Yeah,
teaser that's like about a minute or so, and then a
yeah.
couple months after that teaser's released, you release your official trailer.
I think they're confident this movie's going to make an assload of money, so I think that they're going
Oh,
to
dude. I
drop this.
mean,
Yeah, it's this. This is
with the
a
cat, with I mean, the casting is just.
yeah,
I mean, with Jenna Ortega and Michael
mhm,
Keaton,
yeah,
Winona Ryder. I mean, come on now, like Willem
yeah,
Dafoe. It's
yeah.
gonna. Yeah, I mean, there.
I,
And with Tim Burton directing, I mean, come on now, what more could you ask for?
yeah, I mean, coming hot off Wednesday with Jenna and yeah. By the way, Catherine O'Hare from the original Beetlejuice. I think she's coming back to this one, maybe.
She is. She is.
Uh,
Yes, she's in the casting list.
Actually, pretty great in Argyle. Gotta say, I thought she did a nice job. Just
She
just
did.
throwing that out there. She
I
was
mean,
yeah, she was pretty
better
good in
than
Argyle.
Bryan Cranston's character. I'll say that much.
For sure. Yeah, I agree.
I also find it funny how this movie's gonna be called Beetlejuice Beetlejuice
Yeah, and
instead of
spoiler alert, the
Beetlejuice 2.
third film is going to be called Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice,
Beetlejuice
Beetlejuice,
Beetlejuice
probably. Yeah.
Beetlejuice.
Because, yeah, we know this is going to make money. They're probably going to want to make a third one, unless, like, everybody dies at the end of this one or something. Like, and even then, you could still make a third one because, hey, there's ghosts in Beetlejuice. So,
And the fact that
yeah.
they're having Danny Elfman compose the music for this film
Yeah, yeah,
is
man.
amazing.
Everything is shaping up to be great here, and I do think that this one will be good. I have a pretty good feeling about this one. I really
Like
enjoyed the
those two always just make amazing movies together. I mean, you got
yeah,
Corpse Bride, Nightmare Before Christmas, um, the first Beetlejuice, um,
yeah.
and
Well,
so on and so forth. I mean, the list just goes on and on.
well, I definitely enjoy the fact that like because this is what I wanted it to be. Because we just saw Jenna Ortega play Wednesday, and she's going to be Winona Ryder's daughter in this. And essentially, when you think of that in your head, it's like, okay, another goth type girl. So she's basically
Exactly.
playing Wednesday.
Yeah,
But
essentially.
if you see the images, and this is what I wanted them to do, she's actually in all white. So they're kind of making a spin on what you think would be the
It's
case.
like an opposite Wednesday because
Yeah.
like Wednesday's all black and then you got her as an all white.
I think she's going to start as this very positive, very bright person, and she's going to slowly become the goth girl in this one. I think that that's what this is going to be. I think that's the spin they're going to play on it. I think Jenna Ortega needs it because she's, she needs to show versatility in her acting. Not that she hasn't. She's a very great actress. Don't get me wrong. But I think to
Oh,
a
yeah, she's played
more
a variety of roles.
right, to a more mainstream audience, I think she needs to show that versatility. And not that she's
Sure.
not already the biggest star right now, but I think I think it'll
She's
even
talked
just
about every single person.
I think it'll help her even more. I got good feelings about her as an actress and her career. So
Oh
moving
no, yeah.
forward
I
in
mean,
this
she's only
industry.
gonna just keep going up, honestly.
100%, and she needs to have that Winona Ryder thing. I mean, the Winona Ryder and Edward Scissorhands and Winona Ryder and Beetlejuice, two different characters. So she needs to. I think she needs to have that. I think that's the way Tim Burton wants to play this. Is just
She's another one that showed versatility too. Look at her. She's done Stranger Things
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
all
and
those other projects she's been in. So she definitely has
for
versatility.
sure. I mean, Age of Innocence with Martin Scorsese. I mean, that's a movie that you just never thought you'd see her in, and she's great in it, for the most part. So yeah, I think this project is so exciting. I can't wait to see this one in September. I hate that we have to wait so long, but then again, it's right around that fall time, which is perfect for that. People are going to be wanting to watch the original right around that time anyway, to prep for this one. So it's perfect.
And
So
then
I'm,
obviously having Michael Keaton come back as Beetlejuice is just
dude,
it
iconic.
had to be done. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
dude, it's gonna be great.
Let me ask.
Beetlejuice,
Yeah.
the fans of the original Beetlejuice are gonna like their minds gonna be like blown.
Let me ask you this:
It's
do you think he could still do it in this age? You think he could pull it off the right way? I mean,
I think yes, I think he can because of the fact that he's done it before.
yeah,
Um, that I think he's gonna be able to just do it again. I mean, it's just I feel like it's one of those things for him that it's like riding a bike for humans. Like it's just something that is natural for him, and that I feel like he will definitely be able to do.
well, look at him in the Flash movie. He slipped right back into Bruce Wayne. You know what I mean? I don't think he was
Exactly. Oh, and
playing Michael
he did it.
Keaton. He
Yeah.
was Bruce Wayne again.
No, he
Yeah.
wasn't. 100,
And
hundred
I thought
percent
he did a great job in that, and it really felt like the Bruce Wayne from the Tim Burton films, So I'm very
for sure.
excited for this return, man, and this. Hopefully, I don't think they would have done it without a good plot. I really think that the script is probably pretty solid for them to have finally been like, we're ready, because they've been teasing this for years, like a lot of years. So I think that Burton wouldn't have gone through with it if everything just didn't line up perfectly, and I'm hoping that's the case. For Jenna Ortega to have turned down Scream 7 and all that, for this, for her schedule and all that. I think that this is lining up so perfectly, and that's the reason that this movie's happening. Let's hope we're correct about this, because man, this is one of my most anticipated of the year. 100%. I can't wait to see this first trailer. I guarantee next couple weeks here we're gonna probably get it, and I'll be doing a reaction for sure. Very excited about it, man. I'm so excited for this film. So
Same.
yeah, all right, guys. Let us know what you think of Beetlejuice 2, and we're gonna jump into some other stories here. In the meantime, all right. So we got Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman will save the whole Marvel universe with Deadpool 3. Says X-Men director. This is coming from People.
Matthew Vaughn.
Matthew Vaughn talks about it. Says that the details he knows of the upcoming Deadpool 3 sequel are unbelievable. So this isn't the actual director of Deadpool 3, but this is a different director claiming he knows stuff. And we just talked about Matthew Vaughn with the oh god, what was that movie?
Argyle.
Argylle. Thank you. I already forgot the name of it. So that's how good it was. Matthew Vaughn is confident that Deadpool 3 will help amend Marvel Studios' recent box office woes. Vaughn, who previously worked in Marvel superhero space with his 2011 X-Men First Class, recently revealed to Bro Bible during his press tour, Argylle, there's the movie name, that he is familiar with some of what happens in Ryan Reynolds' upcoming film. The few snippets that I know about Deadpool versus Wolverine or Wolverine versus Deadpool, I'm sure that argument between Ryan and Hugh is happening as we speak, are unbelievable. The filmmaker said that's going to be the jolt. The Marvel universe is about to have a jolt of them, and it's going to bring back that body back to life. I love that phrase right there. I think Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are about to save the whole Marvel universe. While the plot of the upcoming Deadpool film remains under wraps, kind of. I'll talk about that here in a second. The movie will co-star Hugh Jackman as he reprises his iconic X-Men role, Logan/Wolverine, Reynolds 47, and Jackman 55.
Jackman.
That's his
He's
new
a
superhero.
Jackman.
When he's done with Wolverine, he can come in and play Jackman. 55 first
Jack.
announced Jackman's involvement in the movie back in September 2022, and there's a photo of the two of them right there. You gotta love that. So, I don't know, Jose, what do you got on this?
Um, it's interesting. Whether or not this movie will be about them, quote unquote, saving the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
Um, you could take that in multiple ways. It can be
sure.
them saving the Marvel universe in terms of because we've had so many bad
Right.
Marvel
That
movies that have
this movie's gonna
come
be
out. Like this
great.
one, this it's gonna save. It's gonna bring hope back to the fans for future MCU projects.
Yeah.
Or if it's that, or if it's also in terms of in the actual movie itself, they're actually gonna try and save
Yeah.
the MCU. So
Yeah.
like maybe it's both, maybe it's one or the other. But either way, I'm really excited. I do think personally that it will save the MCU in terms of future projects that are to come out because right now MCU is in a really bad spot in
Yeah.
terms of movies and sort of the shows as well. If I'm being honest,
Yeah.
movies more than the shows, but
Mhm.
still, I mean, I feel like this will definitely save it.
While this isn't Sean Levy's quotes, it's Matthew Vaughn's, and he's saying he knows stuff, and I believe him. He's of the he has pull over there. Having done one of the better X-Men movies, I do believe he does know a lot about what's going to happen in this movie. I bet you they probably consulted with them. I think they are going to bring some X-Men First Class stuff forward into this a little bit. With some of the
I mean, if you look
multiverse
at
stuff.
if you look at the IMDb casting, they already it has there Jennifer Garner who's going to be playing Elektra,
Yeah. Um.
so that's going to be interesting.
Right, she's coming back as Elektra, so I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening, and really, if there is a plot description for the Japanese, there's in Japan they put it out on their official website, and they and somebody decoded it, and it was basically that the plot description that they're going to save the Marvel universe, and so I don't know if that means, like you said, they're actually going back in time. It makes the most sense to me
It
because.
does because this is a I mean, Wolverine is still alive in this movie.
And you look at the way, yeah, you look at the way that Deadpool ended. Deadpool 2, I mean.
Right.
And he had that,
Right.
thing and the device. And so they could honestly play with that and continue that story in a very cool way. So that'll be neat. I mean, Matthew Vaughn, again, this is coming from him, and he says a lot of things this way. He says he wants to reboot Star Wars. No, thank you. But I think that this is I do believe him. I do believe that he knows and he has information on this movie. Yeah, and I think coming from one of the better X-Men directors, him giving his sort of vote of confidence is pretty good. First Class is one of the better X-Men films for sure. So I like that he kind of gave his backing here and is like, yeah, guys, just trust me, this is going to be pretty good. Definitely enjoy that. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this movie. Obviously, this is amongst my most anticipated. Not quite my most, but I'm putting Dune
It's in
and
there in my top five
yeah,
most anticipated for sure.
I put Dune and Beetlejuice above it. That's for sure.
Oh, dude, yeah, no, for sure.
But this
I
is,
definitely put Deadpool 3 there.
but yeah, I mean, just going back to this image, man. I mean, how can you not love that? That looks, that's Luke carrying Yoda on his back, pretty much right there, and that cracks me up. So yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to it. So I hope you guys are as well. But if not, let us know why. And yeah, what do you guys think of the quotes from Matthew Vaughn, who is not attached to the
There
film,
are
but
also there are also rumors saying that Owen Wilson's going to be in Deadpool 3 as
yes,
Mobius.
yeah. So that'll be neat if that is the case. They carry some Loki stuff forward into it,
I was to say Loki
which
wouldn't
I
be in
can
it
see
because he's too
happening.
busy carrying the whole universe on his back currently right now as the god of stories. But it would be cool to see Mobius in Deadpool 3 as the TVA agent to kind of
Agreed. Agreed.
control their shenanigans in a sense.
100%. It would make a lot of sense. And like I said, not my most
Because he
anticipated.
was
Yeah.
spotted. He was spotted in London during the
Mm,
shoot of Deadpool 3,
gotcha.
which is what people are speculating means that he was shooting, but other people think it's because he was doing at the time promos and stuff for his Haunted Mansion movie, even though that one already came out.
Gotcha.
But who knows? We'll
So
see.
yeah, no, fair enough. Not my most anticipated, but up there. Not up there with
Hmm.
Dune. Which let's talk about Dune here for a second, because Dune.
Nice segue.
There's a oh, thank you. There is a Dune story that we have here today. Denis Villeneuve will stop making Dune movies after Dune 3, despite more books in the series. Dune Messiah should be the last for me, quoted from the director Denis
And he said
Villeneuve.
that before as well.
Yes.
He announced that when he did Deadpool Dune 1. He did announce that.
Yeah. Denis Villeneuve has been quite vocal about his intention to make a third Dune movie, which would be based on Frank Herbert's second novel in the series, Dune Messiah. Warner Brothers has not yet given the official green light on Dune 3, so that's important to remember. But should the studio move forward, it will most likely mark Villeneuve's final installment for the franchise. Despite Herbert's literary series continuing with various sequels such as Children of Dune, God Emperor of Dune, Heretics of Dune, and Chapter House Dune, Dune Messiah should be the last Dune movie for me. Villeneuve confirmed to Time magazine in a new interview of the theatrical release of Dune Part 2. The director said last December, as you were kind of saying here, Jose, Dune Messiah is being written right now. So he is writing it, adding the screenplay is almost finished, but it is not finished. It will take a little time. There's a dream of making the third movie. It would make absolute sense to me. So he's playing a
Let me
little.
just tell you,
Yeah,
I think that it's smart for him to stop at the second
I
book.
agree.
It
I
would
agree.
it would have been cool to see maybe the third book, but here's the reason why I think it's a good idea for him
Yeah.
to stop after the second book is because the books get way too complicated the further down you get. Like I've heard that books 4, 5, and 6 are like the most complicated readings
Yeah.
of all the Dune books. So I feel like if he tries tackling 4, 5, and 6, maybe even 3, I don't know. I
Yeah.
just feel like it'll be too much, and he will maybe overthink too much and try and make it too complex to where people won't like it.
Hmm.
Whereas the first and second books are a little more simplistic and are easier to adapt. I feel like the other ones are just a little too complicated to adapt.
Yeah.
And I don't want him to like release these movies and then be like, they don't do good in the box office and in the theaters, and now he's ruined this whole franchise.
Right. Yeah. And he had a couple things too. I mean, he's kind of on that caliber of ambition when it comes to his filmmaking as like Nolan and Peter Jackson. And like you look at,
He's experimenting.
Peter Jackson's kind of known for he is known for the Lord of the Rings trilogy first and foremost, and Nolan has the Dark Knight under his belt. I think he just wants to get his trilogy done of Dune
He must
and
have a trilogy,
get the
yeah.
hell out. Not like rushing out because he hated it, but like just go back to making his own stuff again because that's what
Yeah, as I
he's
was saying, he
great
wants to
at.
just start making some
Yeah,
more original stuff
which is great. I
or
think that's
adaptations. Yeah,
I mean, we were just talking about Matthew Vaughn doing his Kingsman. Not that that turned out as good or anything, but like he did his Kingsman, got the hell out, started making, now he's doing Argylle, right? So I do think that this is a good move. I don't think you start writing that script unless he knows it's going somewhere. So
right.
I do think it. While they say it hasn't been greenlit, which that's might be the case, I do think it has been. There's just no confirmation on it yet, and we've heard the actors already say, yeah, we're gonna go wherever Denis goes. So if he wants to do Dune
Right.
3, we're going. This movie I think is actually going to make an assload of money. Dune 2. I think it is going to warrant a sequel. I know some people don't have as much faith in that. Now, while I don't necessarily think it will make a billion, it could. And that'll warrant a sequel. I mean, and the ticket sites were already kind of breaking down when people were trying to
Which
pre-order
doesn't surprise
tickets.
me if I'm being honest.
No, but that is a good sign for how much money this is going
It
to make
is.
too. And I think that warrants a sequel to me. Make Dune 3. Yeah, do it. Do Messiah. I think it works. I think that's the way to go. I would be a little disappointed if it didn't happen, unless like this movie like flops or is terrible, which I don't think it's gonna
Which
be.
I don't
It's
see
yeah,
happening at all because
yeah,
the fans of the first Dune movie are just, as you can tell, just so super excited to watch the
yeah.
second part.
And you gotta
So
add the elements of like, while the first one like broke even and then some, like you gotta add the element here where it's like this one is not day and date release. You have to go to the theater to see this one. They're not doing it on HBO Max the same day like they did the first. So you have to go
which
to the
is which
theater.
is which is smart.
I also
Honestly,
think a
I
lot
feel
of
like
people felt bad that they missed the IMAX the first time around, right? So they probably want to go for this one. Um,
yeah, I think I saw that was something that happened with Christian Harloff. I think he posted a video recently where he saw Dune and the first Dune in
yeah, I
IMAX for the
did see
first
that.
time.
Well,
Yeah,
he's seen the movie on HBO, but he saw it in
he missed it
IMAX.
in IMAX. He missed it in IMAX, and so he saw it not too long ago in IMAX for the first time.
Right, because they did re-release it, and I think that kind of advertisement's going to really help this because I do think the reaction's going to be. I mean, you and I have seen it in IMAX and at home, right? And nothing compares to the way
Yes.
it was in IMAX. It's a
Oh,
great movie
definitely not.
regardless, but the IMAX is a whole different thing with this one, and I think Dune 2 is going to be
Yeah,
that.
I feel like releasing it first in theaters and then putting it into box office is definitely gonna make it make more money than the first one did.
Yeah,
It's normally how that kind of stuff
yeah,
works.
100%.
Because if you do it on both, then people would much rather just sit at home and watch it than go out to a theater, have to buy a ticket and watch it. Because I mean,
Yeah,
tickets. Let's be honest, tickets are whether it's for IMAX, Dolby, or digital, they're still pretty expensive. And so people who already have subscription services would much rather just stay home and watch it than go out to the theaters, which is why it's always smart to put it in theaters first so that it actually makes people go out and watch it. And then if they want to watch it again, that's why it comes out into a streaming service eventually.
I don't believe in the hard and fast movie star the way that we used to have it. You know what I mean? Like I don't think like people like really get asses in seats anymore the way it used to be. But what I do believe in is ensembles. I do think ensembles do help the movie. And you look at this cast; it's the best people working today. It really
It's
truly
the
is.
same ones from the same as the first one minus a couple and then adding some as well.
And adding some that are arguably even
Yeah, I
better.
mean
You know,
Florence Pugh,
Austin Butler's hot right now off
Austin
Elvis,
Butler.
and he's doing that Masters of the Air series. These are the best actors
Oh,
we have working
Was it
today.
Christopher Walken?
Yeah,
Um,
it's
I
the
mean, come on
best.
now,
It's the
I'm
best
Christopher
cast of all
Walken.
time. It's
Not for
arguably one of
sure.
the best ensembles of all time coming in this.
And the fact that we get to see more of Zendaya this time around compared to the first one, I feel
Yeah,
like a lot of people are gonna enjoy more as well because
yeah.
she's also real hot right
Oh
now.
yeah.
With that other movie of hers coming out, Challengers, which
Challengers is
looks
coming,
interesting
which will come
for
after
sure.
this, but still, I do
Yeah.
think. Yeah, I mean, 2 time in a row Emmy winner for Euphoria. She's the
Yep.
hottest thing right now. Timothy Chalamet, people can't get enough of. I mean,
Oh,
he,
obviously, like, I mean, obviously, it's Timothy Chalamet. Come
I
on
mean,
now, he's
teenage girls will go see this because Timmy's in it. That's how hot he is right
and
now. So
and teenage guys will go watch this because Zendaya's in it.
I also think you got to add, if you know the story of the second half of the book, which is like this is going to be a little less of that heady nature and a little bit more action packed, which I also think will be a huge appeal to modern day audiences. It's still going
Yeah, it
to
was gonna be
be a good
less
balance, I think.
politics and more
Yeah,
less politics, more fighting for
yeah,
sure.
and I think it's still going to be a good balance of that. I mean, I think everything Denis makes
Yeah,
is
no,
a piece of art, and
the first one had balance between politics and fighting. It was just more politics and fighting. This one's
yeah,
gonna be the other way around. It's gonna be
yeah,
balanced, but it's gonna have more fighting
100%.
than
Yeah,
politics.
but still
Yeah.
perfectly balanced, hopefully. And I
Oh no,
think that
100%. Yeah.
yeah, I think that this is going to be great. I think
It
this
also
movie is
kind of
going to be real special. I really do.
it kind of seems like Rebecca Ferguson's character is gonna have a little bit less in this one
Yeah,
than
and
she did
that's
in the first,
I
which I'm kind of fine with.
she's to me was the weakest point of the first one. And she's not a bad actress by any means. I just think that that character, it's really hard when you adapt this book. But that
Oh,
character was definitely got the least amount of attention, and maybe that's by design. And I think when we see the full vision of it, we're going to be okay with it. You know, it's
I'm
not
ready to
going
see the character arc for Josh Brolin's character. That's gonna be
to.
an interesting one. Honestly, I can't wait for that.
He's already been talking about some things he does in this, and I'm very
Oh, dude,
excited.
I can't wait. And to see Dave Bautista's character
Yeah,
also, do his thing, and obviously the new people we have Florence Pugh do her thing, Austin Butler do his thing as Fade Rotha,
oh
and Christopher Walken
yeah,
as the Emperor. I mean, it's just gonna be, and obviously Florence Pugh's character Princess Irulan. Can't wait to see
yeah.
how that all unfolds. Honestly,
The
I'm honestly this is my most anticipated for this year.
the cast went out on Kimmel the other day, and they did show a clip or two, and they just look so stunning to me. I can't wait for this. I think this is going to be a special film.
I already
This
know that the sound and soundtrack and everything in the score is just gonna be so beautiful. I
Yeah,
can't wait to watch this in IMAX because it's just gonna elevate that even more.
it's really potentially the best movie of the year, and that's
Oh,
saying a lot
without
considering it's only
without a
March.
shadow of a doubt.
It's only going to be March when it
Without a
comes
sh-
out, and it's potentially the best
I'm just
movie of
trying
the
to
year.
I'm just trying to think of other movies coming out. I mean, we just started the year, but still, I mean, I just can't really think. I mean, like Dune One would to me was probably the best of that
That
year,
was my
in my
second
opinion.
favorite that year. Yeah, and I think that this one has the potential to be even better, and it should be
Exactly.
if they adapt the book properly. I mean, it should be the better installment. So
Which he has with the first, so I have no doubt that
yeah,
he's done it with this second part. So
yeah, man. You could tell that Denis just really gets the world and understands it in a way that I don't think
oh, you
another
could tell that he's
filmmaker
like
could.
a huge nerd when it comes to Dune. Like you could tell he's read the books so many times
For
and
sure,
just
man.
knows like the Dune universe so well
Yeah,
that I couldn't
agreed.
have thought of anyone better to adapt them into movies.
Agreed, man. Agreed. So you did bring a story to my attention earlier that I wanted to jump into, and if you're the audience, let us know what you think of this Dune stuff too. By the way, I did want to talk about this. We do have a pretty cool story, I think, that you were bringing
Oh
to my
no, for I
attention
mean
today.
it. I thought it was really cool.
I agree. And then oh yeah, there was SD Hyam on a Jack Daniels ad. She's gone
There
now.
you go.
Oh, there she is. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at this. Jim Carrey returning for Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I think this is great news. This is coming from Variety here. We haven't seen the last of Dr. Robotnik. Jim Carrey
Robotnik.
will reprise his role as the mad scientist with the formidable facial hair in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. The news comes despite the fact, and here there be spoilers. I have not seen the second film, so I'm going to stop reading. But we know the news.
Ooh.
Yes. So yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
read
so
anything.
he's I'm gonna read that off camera then
Yeah, do
to
that
myself.
because I have not seen the second film.
Um
But go ahead.
dude, you need to watch it. It's such a good movie.
I am gonna catch up on these before this next one, so I'll watch
And
them.
I'll definitely I'll rewatch the first and second before the
Yeah,
this third one comes out. But yeah, so Jim Carrey's essentially unretiring. I'm gonna assume that this is gonna be he's gonna do this movie and then go back to retirement. Um Most likely, unless something else comes up that he would want to come back for. But I'm honestly super glad that he's coming back, like that he's unretiring for this movie because it just makes sense. Like who else to play Dr. Robotnik than the guy who's played him for the last two movies? Like to me, it's almost like what they did with The Witcher. It's like they got rid of Henry Cavill, now they're bringing him. Like no one else could play that role. It's kind of like that. Like Jim Carrey was born to play this role because of other roles that he's played. Like I see Dr. Robotnik's character as like his Grinch character. Like they're kind of similar in the sense of like they're both cuckoo crazy.
hmm
And so Jim Carrey just like kills those roles, and
yeah, he
so
does.
it just makes sense that he's in it. You could tell that he really wanted to come back and do this third movie. The fact that he's unretiring for this, you could tell that like he really loved doing the first two, that he wanted to come back and do the third. Like that shows me that he actually loves these movies and loved doing them, and that he wants to come back and do this third one.
I have not seen these yet. I know I'm in the minority here. And it's not because I don't want to. I will.
Wait, so you haven't even seen the first one?
No, sir.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, but
That's
I
crazy.
am going to watch them now that this third one's happening. And it does seem that, like you said, I mean, Jim Carrey has such an affinity for the role. I do believe that nothing else would really pull him out of his little retirement here. To me, unless he really did have passion for the role, and I've heard he's born for it. So I need to see it.
100.
And yeah, I'm excited for the fans of this for sure. And I know it's anytime we get good video
Like
game
me.
adaptations, yeah, anytime we get good video game adaptations, it's a win for me. I am a fan of
It's
the games, but
one of the few that has been done in movies,
yeah,
at least live action, that are actually good.
yeah,
Because I mean, the
I've
only
heard,
exception would be the Mario movie, but that was an animation. But in terms of live action
yeah.
adaptations of video games, there haven't really been any that are good.
I think
And
what's
I'm glad there's one that has actually been done justice in
yeah,
live action.
I think what's so impressive about this too, if I may, just is the fact that that first trailer comes out for the very first film, and nobody's happy with the Sonic design. They listen to the fans, they change it, and then here we are in a third movie. I'm
I
not,
mean, and now
yeah,
he looks great.
I'm not saying that would have affected it one way or the other, but it had to have some effect, right? The fact that they were listening and were like, "Hey, we hear you. We'll take care of that now before the movie releases," and then here we are. And then you also got to remember that first movie came out right before the pandemic when theaters closed, right?
Yeah,
And so it was
2020.
like,
Yep.
so it kind of got screwed over by that. But again, like the people just keep coming back to it, and they keep going to see it, and I think that's very impressive. And I mean that first one was up against the Margot Robbie Harley Quinn film, and so like I think that is a really big deal. Like the fact that we're here, we're seeing this third movie, it's gonna happen. So exciting for the fans of this, and I think that
And
what this
and
franchise
I
has done
really
is impressive. Yeah,
really do love that that Jeff Fowler, the one who did the first and second, is coming back to do the third as well. It only makes sense.
for sure, for sure.
Honestly, it's great. It's great to see that they're not switching directors for every movie. They're just keeping the same one to do all of them because he just knows what he's doing
Agreed, agreed.
when it comes to Sonic.
I agree with you. All right, so I was gonna bring this up the other day, but I wasn't really sure like how far into development this thing was, or how real it was actually gonna be. But it seems like this thing has been pretty fast tracked, and this has me very excited. It should have a lot of people excited. So there is a movie, SNL 1975. It's Garrett Morris, it's Dan Aykroyd, and John Belushi. So this is who's gonna play these roles. I'm very excited
And
about
Dylan
this.
O'Brien.
No, well, these are no, no, no. So Dylan is gonna play Dan Aykroyd. So that's
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. All right, so let's look at this. Exclusive. Lamorne Morris, Dylan O'Brien, Corey Michael Smith, and Matt Wood have joined the cast of Sony Pictures SNL 1975, which will be directed by Jason Reitman and based on the real life behind the scenes accounts of the opening episode of Saturday Night
Mm.
Live. Morris will play Garrett Morris. Well, that makes sense. O'Brien will play Dan Aykroyd. Smith will play Chevy Chase, and Wood will play John Belushi.
John Belushi.
The original screenplay is written by Reitman and Gil Keenan. On October 11th, 1975, a ferocious troupe of young comedians and writers changed television forever. SNL 1975 is a true story of what happened behind the scenes that night and moments leading up to the first broadcast of NBC's SNL. It
Mm.
depicts the chaos and magic of a revolution that almost wasn't, counting down the minutes in real time to the infamous words, live from New York, it's Saturday night. This sounds incredible.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I I think when you just think about, I mean, there's been so many stories of the drama behind this SNL thing, and leading up to the moments and that rough experience trying to get the show off the ground and make that very first one. Wow.
Right.
That's a story. This cast is kind of smaller. Um Dylan O'Brien has me excited. I think he can knock that out of the park
Yep.
for Dan Aykroyd, though. I
No,
do
for
think that
sure.
one was perfect casting. Jason Reitman is one hell of a director. I think that's perfect for this. His father has ties to the actual original SNL cast, having done, the original Ghostbusters film. Jason Reitman now having done the new Ghostbusters Afterlife. And I was wondering why he wasn't directing the second one. This is why. He was probably working on this whole time. And, man, this could be a movie. This could be a great, great film. Like, no joke, I am so looking forward to this movie, and I think it's going to be a big deal. What I like about this is going to be one of those Oscar baity movies without a doubt. On the same hand, it's going to appeal to a very mainstream audience. I mean, SNL till
Oh,
this day
100.
is still one of the most popular shows out there. You can still catch clips on YouTube daily. I guarantee the clips pop up on most people's YouTube feed till this day. That's why this is going to be such a big deal.
And guess who's also been? Because I just looked up there's other cast
I
members for
know
this movie
Cooper
actually.
Hoffman I saw from Licorice
Yep.
Pizza, which
Yep.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, so that's exciting. Who's he playing again, did they say?
Dick Ebersol.
Yeah, see, so this is a good cast. I'm telling you. I think that this is going to be a really cool way for people to probably when the trailers come out. I do think people are going to go back, especially the young crowd is going to go back and watch a lot of those original SNL things. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. I do hope that they're unfiltered about this. I really do. I do think Jason Reitman is gonna be unfiltered about this. I mean, Chevy Chase was an absolute dick. It still is, from what I understand, but was probably a lot more back when in his younger days.
I mean,
They
I do definitely think this is gonna be rated R for sure.
Yeah, they need to dive into that the tomfoolery. They need to dive into the drugs. They need to dive into just everything, and I want to see it all go down. And I think it'll change people's perspective on that first season of SNL without a doubt.
One of the
But
actresses from the main actor, one of the white main actress from Bottoms, she's in this SNL movie as well.
okay, all right,
Rachel Sennett, who's actually really funny in that movie. I love that
yeah.
movie.
I've heard Bottoms is great. I need to watch it, but
Oh, Bottoms is hilarious.
dude, that's awesome, man. Everything is lining up, and I can't remember who was the very first host of SNL. Do you want to look that up because we got to cast that
Okay,
person
yeah.
too? Yeah, I was just
And
thinking about that
Ga-
because we got to cast them.
Gabrielle Bell, who's in The Fablemans, is also in the SNL movie.
Yes, exactly. He was so good in Fablemans as well. He plays
So he's in the SNL movie as well. There's a lot
yeah.
of pretty. So you want me to look up the first SNL host?
Yeah, who was the first ever SNL host? Because I can't remember.
George Carlin.
Oh my gosh! So you got to cast a George Carlin in there. That's a big responsibility. But you have to. You have to
Yeah,
have
which
Carlin in this movie.
they haven't casted that yet, but yeah, they definitely do need to
Yeah.
cast that.
Oh man, I can't even think of who could play a George Carlin right now.
Well, let me see what this dude looks like.
Yeah, man, George
There could be
Carlin's
some potentials.
one of the greatest comedians out there.
Okay.
That was out there. He's definitely, he's passed away at this point, sadly. But
Right.
oh man, I can't even think of who could play a Carlin because that's again, man, you're talking major responsibility to cast that. Um, Now look,
Who voiced in Cars? Speaking of which.
yes, he was. But I think it. I mean, you look at some of these guys. I mean, they're not really going for look-alike, but I do think these actors can channel these characters. I mean, they don't necessarily look exactly like these people. They're
They
close.
look pretty.
They're close
I
though.
was gonna say they're pretty
They're
close.
close, yeah. Yeah, I know some people were bitching. I heard some people bitching about the Dylan O'Brien casting. Like, you guys got to remember, Dan Aykroyd in that first season was thin as hell in SNL. Go back and watch some Blues Brothers and shit. I mean, like, the guy was thin. Um, it was a different time for him, and I think Dylan O'Brien's perfect for Dan Aykroyd. He's a great actor. He's quippy. He's got the quip of Dan Aykroyd, so I think he can really hit that and nail that. But yeah, sorry, you were going with Carlin. Did you? Yeah, I don't know if you thought of anybody because I can't
Hmm.
off the top of my head. It's really really tough. You got to find
Some
somebody
people.
who's
Yeah, I mean,
unfiltered,
and someone who's young.
and at that point,
Like
yeah,
on the younger side.
yeah, at
Yeah,
that
because
point,
this
he was
is
definitely younger.
that's what I mean. In 1975, he was what, like probably in his
Oh,
20s, 30s, probably. He
yeah.
was
I
born
mean,
in so he's born in 37 and it started in 75. He would have been uh 18, what? No, 20. No, wait, sorry, no, 40. 40. No, so he would have been 30 38. He would have been 38. So you need someone like
it's
around that age. You could go for like a 25, 28.
it's
Um
not that close in
even
appearance, but
even 30s.
I'm thinking of performance wise, it's not that close of appearance, but you can use some prosthetics. I'm gonna throw a wild card at you, Matt Smith.
Ooh. You know
That's my
what?
wild card. That's my wild card. I think he could transform into that. You know what I mean? Like I think he's got that thing. Matt Smith might be really good for that. It's kind of a wild card for sure, but I think
I
if you're
mean, you look at what he looked like in 75.
it,
He's not too far off.
yeah, it's
Especially
like it's kind of
since
that's what I mean.
he already has he has long hair as well already.
That's
So
what
it's
I mean.
like
It's like it's close enough to where you can, you know what I mean? I think you can maneuver it, and it's also you're getting a great actor in there who I think can
if anything in
transform into that, you know?
yeah, you would have to maybe put like you might have to make him look a little
For
older
sure. Yeah. I think all these guys are
because
going to
he
get some
because
type of prosthetic too.
oh
You
no,
know what I
for
mean?
sure,
So,
make them look older than what they actually are. Because I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
these guys are all playing like their mid 20s, early 30s,
Hmm.
and these guys were like near their 40s. So
Near, I'd
no,
say
for sure.
30, early 30s. Yeah. I mean,
Well, look, I looked it up. He was born in 37. SNL was started in 75, so he would have been
well,
um
Carlin, yeah. Carlin is,
yeah,
yeah, being the
Carlin,
first
yeah.
host, yeah. Carlin, I agree with you. Yeah, I think a Matt Smith might do that. That's just one idea. I can't think of a lot of other people that can really tap into that George Carlin to me anyway. So Matt Smith would be my pick. You could go with the complete
That's
unknown.
pretty good.
Yeah, you could go with the complete
You
unknown.
could. You
Um,
could. Gonna freshen it up some.
yeah. As long as it's good, man. As long as they nail it, because Carlin, you got to have a specific. There's some of these guys you do for sure, but a specificity definitely goes into Carlin, without a doubt. I think more than most of them. Aykroyd, I think there's a specificity too, and yeah, I guess all of them kind of have it. But I love this cast. I love this film idea. This idea overall, like I said, it's just shaping up to be pretty insane. So yeah, I'm very, very excited about this. So let's here's hoping it's gonna be as great as it sounds, and I think that this movie is gonna be very intense, honestly, which is odd to say about an SNL film. That it's gonna be as intense as
I'm
it's
trying to look here.
sounds.
If you maybe might have to make him look any younger, but if you like maybe make him look a little younger and change his, maybe have his hair be a different color and longer, you might even be able to use someone like no, because I don't know, because he's not really out there like that. I was gonna say maybe someone like Bryan Cranston.
Too old. I think it's too old for George Carlin in 1975. Yeah.
That's what I mean. If you maybe somehow made him look younger, but with like
Yeah,
prosthetics and stuff.
I'm not saying the actor's bad. I think the actor's probably right if you were doing an older Carlin, but I don't think that it would work for this. Yeah, you'd have to really de-age him. I just don't think it'd be even be
I mean,
worth it.
I've seen it happen before.
Yeah. I mean, Timothy Chalamet, he's everybody else. So I mean, he's I mean, worst case scenario. I'm just saying, you know.
Just make him
Um,
look hella older.
no, I don't even think that would work. I was just thinking he's too young though. This is too young. He's a good actor. I would say I was wondering if like Finn Wolfhard would be interested in doing that transformation, just because Reitman's worked with him before, and I think it's too young. That's the part about it.
He would have to make him look like so much
Yeah,
older.
it's too young. You're right.
But would he really like how tongue in cheek was George Carlin? Like how out there was he?
He was pretty straightforward, to
But
be
like was
honest with you.
he cancelable and stuff like that?
Debatable.
Like was he saying,
No,
"Okay,
no,
I
no, no, no,
don't."
no. I wouldn't say that. I think I wouldn't say George Carlin was cancelable. George Carlin just had I think George Carlin just said it how it was and people didn't like that. But he was honestly just saying truthful things. I mean, and there was nothing about his act that I can recall. Like people would have been offended, but I don't think he's cancelable. Kind of like where Dave Chappelle's at, I would say. You know how like Dave Chappelle's like he
You
offends
think
people, but
Finn
he's still
eh,
making shit, you know?
and you think Finn would be able to do that or would want to do that?
I would want to give him a shot, but I also am thinking like it's too young at this point.
It's too young, and I
Um,
also don't know if he would do something like that. Maybe he would. I don't know. I just don't know about seeing something like that.
I think he's too young for it. I think I would want to see him try it, something like that. But at the same time, I was just trying to think of who's Reitman worked with before, and I was thinking Ghostbusters.
I think the first one you said is probably the best
Matt Smith
option.
to me
Yeah,
works
yeah.
almost perfectly for it, almost. And I'm gonna be shocked though if we got that one right. But yeah, Matt Smith would be
And
pretty good.
you'd really barely have to age him up really as well. Like he already is basically like at that age that
Yeah.
George Carlin was then.
Oh my God, though.
Um,
Let me throw this out there, just
because
because he
Matt
is
Smith is
hot.
41 and George Carlin was around that age. So
I gotta throw this out there. It's gonna sound odd to you, but I'm gonna tell you how I came to this. Um, Austin Butler. I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, so
if you age him up, yeah.
we saw what he could do with Elvis. Austin Butler, right?
They aged him up. That is true.
Not only that,
They fat him up.
when he was on Fallon the other day, he did a Christopher Walken. It was spot on. So I think this dude can just channel anybody. That's why I'm thinking maybe Austin Butler.
I mean, yeah, he channeled Elvis. He channeled like he just told me Christopher
Walken.
Walken.
It was crazy.
He could probably channel anyone.
That's the only other. Yeah, I think he's close enough to the age. He's definitely younger, but like not like Finn Wolfhard
I mean,
either. You know.
he's 32 and Carlin would have been he was 38 at the time. So I mean, he's pretty
Yeah.
close in age. You would still have to make him look a little older because Carlin did have wrinkles and like forehead wrinkles and stuff at the time. So you
Yeah.
would have to definitely age him up a bit, but definitely not that much.
It's just you got to get that mannerism down. That's the problem. It's like he's not
That's why I
like
feel like Matt Smith would be able to do that.
he's not goofy. He's just straightforward. You know, you have to get somebody who's like a really good actor. Like it would actually it's interesting cuz Carlin was a comedian, but you almost have to get like somebody who has dramatic chops to be so straightforward the way he was. It's a strange thing that you got to pull. That's why I'm like Matt Smith, man, he's got the dramatic chops and
Yeah, no, he
he can
does.
hit it and I can see him tapping into the voice too. Like his cadence isn't that far off from where Carlin's was, especially at
And
the
his American
time.
accent is amazing.
We've seen him pull off American. I think it could work.
In House of Dragon and
Yeah,
more when he was he British in Morbius?
yeah.
I can't remember
He's
if he
got
was or
he's
not.
got incredibly versatile hair, so you can really do whatever you want with it. Grow it,
And he's already got the
cut
long
it.
hair that George Clark can have. So
Yeah, exactly. So I think he's almost right on, honestly. Yeah. Anyway, Reitman, if you don't have your Carlin yet, just maybe give Matt Smith a call.
yeah, if you're listening,
Of course he
if you're
is.
listening,
Of course he is. He every day he listens. No, I'm kidding.
fair enough.
Anyway, yeah, guys. So we had to move into our next segment here. Gonna end the show on a bit more of a somber note, and this sucks. But let us know what you think of the SNL casting. Do you want Matt Smith to be George Carlin? Because I think that's a very good idea. Anyway, I did remember the graphic today, so that's good news. Let's move into the segment here, guys. And this segment is Sup with Star Wars. And
Yeah, what's up?
today,
What's up with Star Wars?
thank you, Jose. We are going to get into an unfortunately very, very somber note here
See,
today.
this is where all the laughing and stuff we've done just goes away.
I know, but it's been a fun day, and let's just. I do want to pay tribute to this
Of
guy.
course you have to. Of course you have to end this on this man.
Carl Weathers, Rocky and Predator star who appeared in Happy Gilmore, The Mandalorian, and more, was 76. This is obviously Star Wars alum. Carl Weathers, who starred as Apollo Creed in the first four Rocky films and appeared in Predator, The Mandalorian, Happy Gilmore, Action Jackson, Arrested Development, and dozens of other films and TV shows, died Thursday. His family announced he was 76. We are deeply saddened to announce the passing of Carl Weathers. His family said in a statement he died peacefully in his sleep on
Mm-hmm.
Thursday, February 1st of
Oh,
2024.
yesterday.
Yes,
Crazy.
Carl was an exceptional human being who lived an extraordinary
That he
life
was.
through his contributions to film, television, or the arts, sports.
And
He
mhm.
left an incredible mark and is recognized worldwide across generations. He was a beloved brother, father, grandfather, and partner and friend. I actually had trouble getting through that. Actually, it kind of hit me. Um, yeah. Holy shit. This is a big one. So obviously we're doing this on the Sup with Star Wars segment because he was such a big part of Mandalorian
In
off and on
Mandalorian, yeah.
screen. But he has so many other films in his legacy. I immediately got to go to Rocky. That's probably the most iconic
Yep,
role. I mean,
Rocky.
his role as
Yeah.
Apollo Creed is going to be known
He was in
forever.
he was in Predator.
Predator is another one of my favorites of his. Honestly, I think his work there just was amazing, and yeah, you can go on and on. Happy Gilmore is so
Like you
iconic to
said.
so many
Yep.
people. I don't know, man. I think when I think back at Carl Weathers, I think about the legacy of what he had done for.
And the fact that he went from an NFL linebacker to an actor and producer and all that
That
stuff is
as well.
crazy.
That is insane, and the inspiration that he brought upon the African American community. I think when he showed
For
up in
sure.
something like a Rocky was a big deal. The fact that Stallone was so open to having him, opposite
And
him
they
was a
played
big
off each
deal.
other so well, man. They
It,
just did.
and what was so brilliant about the way that Carl played that role in Rocky is it was the movie was Rocky versus Apollo, but by the end of it, you kind of liked both of them to a degree. You kind of saw that little bit in that first Rocky of the guy who was kind of like he had his own story. You know what I mean? He had his own story beneath him. I mean, obviously everybody wanted Rocky to win, but by the end of it, when Rocky doesn't win, you're kind of not as somber as you would have been if Carl didn't play the role the way he did. When I think back on his legacy a bit, I think about Mandalorian too, and how big of a deal that was for him to come back and not only play, I think, a very impactful character in that show right from the get go, and he plays it again. I'm not saying it's the same character, but he plays a similar performance to Rocky, where you always kind of like this guy. Like, even though he's doing these despicable things, especially toward the beginning of the series, the way that Carl played it was unbelievable. And then in season 2, when he directed an episode, it was such a
Mm,
surprise to see how well this guy directs. Like, this is a guy just watching his directing. He's
mm-hmm.
been around the block, man. He's been in this industry a long time, and the fact that he was able to slide into Star Wars just the way he did, so smoothly, so easily, man, I
I mean,
think
they saw what he did with the other movies that he's been in and stuff, and they just saw the potential for him in Star Wars, and it paid off
it
in the
really
end. I mean,
did.
it was very smart for Disney to in Star Wars particularly to bring him onto the Mandalorian
I
to play the character that he did, which fit him perfectly, honestly.
I will never forget the first Mandalorian panel at Star Wars Celebration, and they had
Oh,
Pedro and Gina Carano and Carl Weathers out there, and I'm telling you, Gina and Pedro they sat back and let Carl sell that show to the audience, and it was awesome the way he said
I
it
mean,
and delivered
if I
it.
was one of them two, I would have done the same thing because it's Carl Weathers, man. Like, come on, you let Carl when he talks, you let him talk.
When I hear the word gravitas, like, I think Carl Weathers in terms of acting. Like, he added gravitas to every performance he gave. It didn't matter how good or bad the movie was, man. He was great. You knew if Carl Weathers was showing up, something special was about to
you,
happen on the screen, and that character was going to be good.
you knew you were gonna have a great time.
Yeah. Um Incredible, man. That guy, honestly, man, my heart hurts today because we, lost this icon, but at the same time, dude, oh man,
Look, look, at least he went peacefully, you know.
that's so incredible to hear too. You know what I mean? Like, when I hear that, I'm like,
And no complications, no cancer, none of that. No, he just went
went to
peacefully in
sleep
his sleep. That's
peacefully. Perfect.
one of the best ways to go. That's actually the best way to go, in my opinion, honestly.
Perfection. Yeah, it is.
It is.
Yeah. That this guy, his family gets to look back on this guy's legacy and be like, man, I don't care who you are, what religion you're in, what your political party is, everybody loves Carl Weathers, man. It's just a fact. Everybody loves Carl Weathers.
Hmm.
Um, he is the best. He is the
He's
best.
that guy.
He really is. One of the best, man, and comes from that school of just iconic roles and iconic movies, and just like, he's been with the best and worked with the best, and showed till Jesus Christmas, till the end of his life, how fantastic he still is, and how seamless he was still able to play the roles, and gave one of the most iconic lines ever with Apollo Creed, which is like, "I want you, I want you." Oh my gosh, like, I can't fathom how somebody brings a presence like that. Seriously, there's nothing. He's an actor of his own genre, his own brand, and I think that's what's so amazing about him too. It's just, there's nobody else like him. Seriously, there's not. Like, you'll never get that type of performance that he can give in a role, and with that sort of power that he gave it. I mean, there's powerful actors and there's powerful actresses and there's actors with gravitas, but not the same gravitas that Carl Weathers brings. Not that same individuality that he brought to every single role that he performed. And yeah, this guy is
Also,
one
also a good
powerful
thing that he didn't
motherfucker.
go. That he didn't go before being able to see anything that he was in. Like nothing's coming out that he is in that he won't be able to see. Um,
That's great too, and that's always awesome
it's
to
great.
know.
Yeah, because I mean, you see those actors that leave us before they get to see some of the stuff they're in, like Cameron
Most of the
Boyce,
time.
who's gone before he went before he got to see
Yeah,
himself in Descendants.
yeah, yeah. Most of
And
the
yeah, I
time it's
mean,
like that. Yeah,
yeah,
and that
and so at least
stinks.
he went, at least he went without any projects that he was in coming out in the future. He just went leaving this amazing legacy. He got to see everything that he was in, didn't miss a single thing, and that's just great, honestly.
Yeah.
And like you said, he's just that guy. one out of one. No one like him. You'll never get anyone like him ever again. His performance is great, and we get to look back on that with all these projects that he's been in.
He seemed so ageless, like I remember him popping up in Mando. It's like I remember thinking to myself, like, man, Carl ain't never gonna die, dude. He seems like he just never aged to me. You know what I mean? I mean, I know that's not reality, but the fact is like he still played it like he was young. It never stopped for him. He played the same. He played it with the same energy. There was you never saw a lack of energy in this dude, man. Dedication to the craft and just kept going, man, and continued to be awesome. And yeah, I hope all of you go order a Grief Karga figure before the prices go up on them. I certainly did.
Honestly,
I did honestly today. I was like, you know what, this is I want to get this now. But even if the price does go up, order it, man, because Carl Weathers is awesome. He made that character awesome. If you can afford it, get it. I am so saddened, but also like ecstatic at the legacy this guy left, and like it's something you take for granted when you're in the moment of it too, because like watching him in Mando, it's like he's just Carl Weathers, you know what I mean? Now it's like,
not for sure.
Freaking Carl Weathers, man. Like you take it for granted, and like I know people get judgmental in these times where they're like, "Oh, you're just a fan now because they died." It's like, no, you realize how much you took for granted when they die.
And that's with every actor, and not even actor, not just actor. I mean, singers, everyone in the entertainment industry. You never realize what someone does until they pass.
It's true,
because then that's when you get to reminisce
you're
in
reflecting.
everything they've
Yeah,
done. Exactly. And so that's the hardest thing about being in the entertainment industry, is that people don't truly see how amazing someone was until they pass, which is the sad truth, honestly.
yeah,
Yeah, it is, honestly.
yeah, man. I think the older I get to, the more death just hits me in different
Oh
ways.
no, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't even see birthdays as birthdays anymore. I see them as a year closer to death, which is, the scary reality. It's just
Yeah,
how you have to see it, really, because that's literally what it is. You're just a year closer to death.
yeah,
I mean, of course, there's the things like you never know. Tomorrow could be your last day, whatever. But like every birthday is just another year closer to
it's
death.
true, it's true. Oh man, I don't want to end too somber here, but I mean, like, look at that outfit and just the again iconography. You know what I mean?
He encompasses America
Yeah, really does.
right there in that picture.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, guys. Again, that's one of the more somber ways we could have ended here today. But I do want to hear everybody's comments on what Carl Weathers meant to you. What roles of his meant the most to you. Um. You know, we'll miss you, Carl. May the force be with you. Thank you for making such a huge impact on
May
our
the force
lives.
be. I like how you said may the force be with you. That's a good one.
100%, 100%. All right, guys. Look, we're gonna end it there, and I hope you guys really enjoyed today's show. We had a lot of really fun stuff that we went through. I can't wait to get to next week's show. We should have at that point. I'm gonna try to go through Monarch. I do want to bring that over to you guys. And Jose, have you watched Percy Jackson all the way through yet? Okay, let's
Yes.
get
Well,
to
actually,
that.
no.
Okay.
Well, no. Yes, I have. Sorry. Yeah, I watched it yesterday.
Okay, all right. Let's try to get to that next week, and we'll do a review. We'll do two TV reviews, Monarch and
Actually,
Percy
that's
Jackson
that's
next
one
week.
thing I wanted to tell you, is that I did read, or I did just buy the newest edition of the first Percy Jackson Olympians the Lightning Thief book
Oh,
that
nice.
comes with the 8 pictures from the set of the Disney Plus
Okay.
series,
All right. Awesome.
which is pretty cool.
Fantastic. All right. Cool. So we'll get to that next week. We'll have you review that one. I'll do Monarch, and should be a couple of really really fun reviews. I want to try to go see.
Have you started Percy? Have you
I
started
started
Percy
it.
yet?
Yeah, I need to get through it.
Okay.
I also want to. I might get through it by next week. We might be able to do that one together. So
I might start Monarch to see if we can get through both of those
yeah,
together then too.
be pretty cool. Yeah, we should try. I'll do my best. It's harder with TV, but
Yeah,
Monarch
what episode are you on?
5 of Monarch. Yeah, so I'm
Oh,
halfway.
okay. No, of Percy, I meant.
2. I saw
Two?
the
Okay.
first one. I've only seen the first one yet, but so I'm doing them kind of simultaneously, jumping back and forth. But yeah, I also want to try to. I might try to catch the new Daisy Ridley movie too. Sometimes I think about dying. I might try to catch that before the end of the week next
Oh,
week. Uh,
I wonder if AMC's showing that one.
I do want to try to hit some of these smaller ones for myself anyway.
Yeah, these. I want to. Yeah, I've
Try
been
to bring
wanting to
those
hit
to the
these
channel.
these artisan films.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I did see the trailer first. Sometimes I think about dying. It looks good.
Yeah, it
To be
does.
fair,
Definitely does.
it
So
does.
I want to
Yeah.
check it out and see how it is. But yeah, guys. All right. So that's the show. Thank you guys for joining so much as always. Before we get out of here, please hit the like button below, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share us with your friends, and hit the bell for notifications. Jose, where can people find you?
Well,
I know you're
on
on a hiatus,
Instagram
but yeah.
as yeah, I am going on a hiatus. Just so you guys know. Just trying to
Clear
sad
yourself.
reality of the whole social media doom scrolling and all the toxicity and hatred and stuff that's going on in this world is really what's messing up with this world. So I've decided to go on a social media hiatus, stop with all this. I mean, I don't have YouTube, TikTok or Twitter anymore. That's all gone. But I still do have Instagram, which is Jose Espinel 5, all lowercase all together. I do still have my YouTube that I'm taking a break from doing. So I will continue to do this stuff here with Dom and probably just solely focus on this. Just take a break from posting on my own channel because it just becomes to be too much with everything else going on in my life, and there's other stuff that I want to do in my life that I haven't been able to do because I've been doing my own YouTube channel and this one here and with school and everything. So just trying to do stuff for myself now and not for the world. Um, so yeah, but Instagram at Jose Espinel 5 altogether, all lowercase. Just letting you guys know if you want to keep in touch. I might check it here and there, but won't be on it too often.
All right. And just so you guys know, I don't have Twitter anymore either. I now have X. Thanks a lot, Elon. No, I'm just kidding. But
Hey, Elon was fantastic for buying Twitter. Just saying.
but you guys can follow us on X and Instagram at the Extract Media pages, Extract Media blog across both platforms. And then you guys can follow me on X at Dom_Martino_ on Instagram, Dom_Martino_ official. And then also, like I said, do all the things, like, subscribe, hit the bell. You'll get notifications for our next big show. Tell your friends if you like this. And we're going to get out of here. I've been Dom Martino. That's been Jose Espinel. And we will talk to you guys later.
See you.